Stop. Someone call the language police. We're getting kind of mixed up here today. We're all going to be attending an ice cream social. Justice. And is the Army spending too much? Before you get ahead of yourselves, we got all that and more. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. Before we get started, though, I'd appreciate it if you would click that like button, click that subscribe button if you haven't already, click that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Two Hands and a Foot, and then please go ahead and share this with your friends so that we can get this channel going big. Let's get into it. For those of you who don't know, Ben & Jerry's is similar to Target in the fact that we've known for quite a while that they're a very left-leaning company when it comes to policies and social justice, so to speak. But recently, they did an open mouth insert foot exercise. On July 4th of this year, they came out with a statement that said, the 4th of July, who doesn't love a good parade, some tasty barbecue, and a stirring fireworks display? The only problem with all of that, though, is that it can distract from an essential truth about this nation's birth. The U.S. was founded on stolen indigenous land. To end their quote. Now, on surface level, if you want to call it stolen indigenous land, who was the first person here? Ben and Jerry, who was the first person here? And how many times did that land get stolen before we even showed up, we being Western people, or you would probably say the white man, because that's what you're referring to, is who stole the land. But before we even showed up, the people that were here were fighting and conquering each other the entire time before we got here. So if you want a virtue signal, that's the wrong way to do it. That's the absolute wrong way to do it there, Ben and Jerry. And that premise has to spread across the globe. Who was where first? That's what happens. To the victor goes the spoils. That's what happens. You disagree with someone about something, you get into a fight or a war, and whoever wins gets to write the history books, gets the leftovers of what's happening. So if you want to, jump on thousands of years of documented history, and you're just going to complain about one set and not be even accurate about that, you're wasting your time. To the tune of now, it's been about a week, $2 billion in market cap that Ben & Jerry's has lost since then. I think it's absolutely hilarious. Ben & Jerry, you didn't see what happened to Bud Light, what happened to Target, again, what happened to Starbucks, and everybody else who's doing this leftist social justice crap spreading. So I would suggest that you maybe, just maybe, you figure that one out. But enough of the ice cream social. I don't know if you remember, but a couple of months ago, the story came out about an overweight guy who won a beauty pageant. And it came out, and it was a huge thing, and this dude who's, twice the size of me and another couple people, won a beauty pageant against a bunch of women. So that was interesting in itself as it was, but just recently, the Netherlands just crowned a 22-year-old man, Miss Netherland. And now this dude's going to be able to go to Miss Universe and compete. So I guess there's a Mr. Netherland in Miss Universe. Not that I follow the Miss Universe pageant, but I did some looking into it, and apparently they've been allowing this type of behavior in the pageant since like 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. So if the dude wants to live in his own fantasy, that's fine. But don't take from, the actual women who do this stuff. Speaking of taking things away and entitlements and stuff like that, we have another entitled brat, and that's what I'm going to call this woman, an entitled brat who doesn't know anything about anything. I'm speaking of WNBA player Natasha Cloud. I don't know if you've read or heard anything recently about what's going on with her recently as a result of the Supreme Court rightfully declaring affirmative action unconstitutional. She decides to call the United States of America trash. Go for it. You can speak your mind. It's one of the cool things about being in this country is you have the right to say what you want. The flip side of that is that people have the right to respond, and rightfully so. Enes Kanter Freedom, he played for the Baltimore Celtics, is a Turkish immigrant. And he said some pointed things to this young lady about her comments calling America trash. One of which was, hey, you're lucky because you can't say these things, so that's what you just said, in countries like Iran, China, North Korea, Turkey, and of the like. You're lucky if you don't get killed for saying those things overseas like that. The funny thing is that Natasha Cloud said this. I'm blessed to travel the world for my career. I've been in plenty of countries that I would have my human rights, health care, free or assisted schooling, don't have to fear mass shootings or white supremacists, don't have to be concerned about the highest maternal mortality rates, less police murders, no mass incarceration based on race, adequate minimum wage, rights to my body as a woman. I mean, I can keep going. And I'll end the quote there. Well, okay, Natasha, if you know of a place that is better than the United States, even though what you're saying is 100% wrong as far as human rights, health care, mass shootings, white supremacists, more mortality rates, less police murders, and incarceration based on race, and all that stuff that you just said, even though you're wrong in that, but if you've found somewhere else that is quote unquote better than this country of ours, go. Put your money where your mouth is. But you're not going to, because you don't actually believe that. How do I know that? Because you're not going. You're not leaving. And you have the means to do so. You are a black, gay woman. Where's my white privilege, lady? I'm waiting for it. Excuse me? I'm living proof that you are wrong. I'm a straight white male, and you make way more money, have better opportunities than I do. Oops! Tough cookies, lady. Hit the road. Go find that country of yours. You're not going to. But then she doubled down. When you stick your foot in your mouth and you just got to stick it in a little further because, whatever. She responded to Enes Kanter Freedom and said, basically, you don't know what I've been through. You are a rich person in this country, and you're going to whine about being oppressed and telling a man who came from an oppressive country that he doesn't know what you've gone through? You're stupid if you think that is a valid statement. Absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. Enough of that. Hello. Welcome to this commercial. As you can see, there really are no sponsors. And yes, you get me again. So, that being said, the way we can improve this is getting this channel out to as many people as possible. I can only do so much. You can do much more than I can. So I ask, share this with your friends on your media feeds. Let this get going. I'll wait. Twitter, go for it. Your Rumble account, go for it. Facebook, MySpace, go for it. Keep going. I'll wait. You done? Good. Awesome. I'm happy for you. Thank you so much for putting this out there. Let's get this going, and who knows where two hands and a foot can go. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Let's talk about language for a second. Now, for most of us, we grew up, and when we went to school, we learned how to spell, and we learned how to make words, and we learned how to put those words into a certain structure, and putting those words into certain structures communicated something. And the reason why it communicated something, because those words had specific meanings. A famous one for school kids is, I need to go to the bathroom. Whether or not you physically have to or not, that bad boy is, we learned that one quick. Because it either we had to go to the bathroom and we couldn't hold it, or we wanted to get out of the class. We knew I needed to go to the bathroom. That was a quick one for us. But the left wants us to believe that they can change the definitions of words because they feel like it. Words like phobia. A phobia is an irrational fear. Not disagreement, not hate. Let me say that again. It's not disagreement, and it's not hate. So you can call out somebody saying that they hate something, fine and dandy, but you can't call it phobic. You can call someone out for disagreeing. You can't call it phobic. Phobic is an irrational fear. Not even just fear. It's irrational fear. So you're wrong. And the way you use it with homophobic, transphobic, all that other leftist wording you want to use. Another one we have, which is kind of along what we with the phobic side, is the word woman. It's a touchy subject nowadays. It shouldn't be. Well, I mean, the definition is clear. It's an adult human female in the XY chromosomes. But we're sitting there, the left wants to say, no, if I feel this way, I am. If I feel like a woman, I am a woman, me being a male. But you can't define what a woman is. The left can't define what woman is. So how am I supposed to know what I am becoming or wanting to become or what have you if you don't have a solid definition of what the word is? That means that thing doesn't exist if you can't define it. That's the whole meaning of the word definition. Something with shape, structure, or meaning. That's definition. If words don't have specific definition, then all language is lost. Let me give you an example real quick. So, let me read this to you. Dip job plum, tractor water cage yellow, never could danger dance helpless canyon, juggle twine heavy jelly, disaster fair jump candle, over kinetics march hibernate wear toaster, fast around together, Hall Giraffe Bond, and that terrible The Wave Lantern, disguised dribbled dark dedication. Did that make any sense to you? The answer is no. But all I said, if I want to use leftist thought process here, is I'm hungry and want some food. I think I want to go order some pizza. And by the way, I think I got a flat tire on my car. It doesn't matter what the left thinks. Truth is truth. Language is necessary. So if words don't have definitions, language ceases to exist. We can talk about moral high ground and what have you, but basic knowledge says if you can't define a word, it doesn't exist. It has no meaning. So the left wants you to believe that you can become something that has no meaning. That doesn't make any sense. No sense at all whatsoever. So somebody, the language police, we need to figure this one out. We need to figure this one out. I don't understand how we lost that common sense. I think we're making strides trying to get that back. I think the general population is coming to its senses and saying, hey, the stupidity has gone on long enough. And we're making strides to correct that. But in the meantime, by golly, it's starting to get a little hot up in here. Now, speaking of something hot, I remember back in my basic training days for the Army, when it didn't matter what the temperature was, you were going out and doing PT. And the idea was you have to pass your Army physical fitness test in order to graduate basic training and then graduate AIT. Well, recently, it's been let out that the National Defense, the bill that's going through Congress, as far as funding for the military is concerned, the Senate Arms Committee is wanting to scrap the Army Combat Fitness Test, the ACFT, and bring back the Army Physical Fitness Test, the APFT. The difference is the APFT is 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, and a 2-mile run in a rather smaller amount of time. Whereas the ACFT has 6 events, with the 2-mile run ending it, and a little bit longer time. They did these studies and all that controversy over the years, and the remakes and the additions and the corrections and all that kind of stuff, and now they're starting to put it into 4 record terms. And the Senate Arms Committee wants to scrap it because what? It cost too much money. I don't know. We just sent, $6-7 billion over to Ukraine, another couple $100 million over the Ukraine here, and then now we're sending munitions over to the Ukraine here. I mean, that's some money we could use to spend on it. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the ACFT crossing over, and it is an adjustment as far as infrastructure you need in order to have it and all that kind of stuff. But like it states, Army Combat Fitness Test. It tests you in things that simulate combat activities. You're not in any position to be doing push-ups, like traditional push-ups, in combat. You're lifting things in combat. You're hoisting things in combat. You're throwing things in combat. You're sprinting, all while doing some of those things in combat. And so that's what the ACFT tests. I would like to see them eliminate the 2-mile run and maybe put an 800-meter sprint in there at the end, because in my entire time I've been in, other than the PT tests, have I ever run 2 miles for anything in the Army. All of my experience overseas, I have never run 2 miles in an emergency. Never happened. Never happened. So either add more sprints, but I'm tangent here. That's personal feelings here. But back to the main point, the Senate Arms Committee, without checking with any senior military leadership, that would benefit anything. But they're wanting to scrap it because it costs too much money, and then replace it back with the APFT. Couple things wrong with that. Now you're going to delay for record APFTs or PT tests, and you're going to get more unfit people that are eligible now for promotions. Dirtbag soldiers who can't stay in shape now are able to be promoted because it waives that requirement because you're in a testing phase for the PT test. So now you're allow that dynamic back in. 2, you're wasting more money because they're wanting to do a study to try to improve the APFT. I get it. The convenience of having the APFT was awesome. You could do sit-ups, push-ups, and a 2-mile run just about anywhere. But not useful. And then here you go. What are you gonna spend that money on, or what are you gonna take away if you keep this? What are you gonna? Because I guess they can print more money, but what are they going to take from as far as the military is concerned in order to keep this program going? Because they're not going to just take money from somewhere else and give it to the Army budget. They're going to take from somewhere within the Army budget and put it towards the ACFT, because I don't think they're going to get rid of it. I don't think they'll actually get rid of the ACFT. I know it's in the proposal stage, and we've got several months before anybody's making a decision on it. I just wanted to bring it out there for everybody to hear that's what's on the table being talked about, is scrapping the ACFT due to lack of funding. But where are they going to get the money from when they keep it? What other critical element in the Army are they going to take this money from in order to keep the ACFT? Because they're not going to pull it from any other branches pot of money or some other pot of money somewhere. So what good idea fairy thought this through? Somebody wanted a notary, who has no clue what's going on. And I'm sure the Armed Services Committee probably has a veteran or two on that committee. And nothing against veterans. But being one myself, I understand sometimes that we get stuck in our own selves. I wasn't the hugest proponent of changing the PT test. Simply because, not because I didn't want to do more events, but because the ability to be able to do it anywhere. Push-ups, sit-ups, and 2-mile run, you can do that anywhere. That was my biggest hang-up is, hey, on a dime you got to do it. Boom, find an NCO, find someone to help grade. Boom, you're taking your PT test. Now you have this whole long setup that you have to do for the ACFT. And it works. It does. The events are awesome, and it does an accurate job of testing you out. I think they need to raise the standards some, but that's another topic for another day. But veterans can get stuck in their ways. People who are thinking, oh, the APFT was awesome, and it served its purpose. But now they're going, hey, we need to save some money. This ACFT is going to cost us too much money. Let's go back to it because that's what I remember, and I think it's a cool idea. That's probably what's going on. As someone on that Senate Arms Committee, that's what they're going through as a veteran. Going, oh, this was good. I like it. I didn't like the change. Now I have an opportunity to change it back. But like I said, I don't think they're going to actually scrap it. I don't think they're going to allow that part to go through on that bill. But then the question again comes back up, was where are they pulling that money from? What legitimate need that the Army has that they're going to pull that money from in order to keep that ACFT going? What critical function are we going to be depleting in order to get that going? So we have a lot to think about when it comes to that is concerned. I really do want to see the ACFT succeed. I think it's valuable. I think it has very, very good studies behind it, research behind it. I think they've tweaked it enough to where it completes what we need. Again, like I said, I think they need to raise the standards a little bit in some of the areas. I know why they have them so low, but I say they need to raise them. In order to get a much better fit Army, I think they need to raise these standards a little bit. It doesn't have to be by a whole lot, but just by a little bit, I think. So that's what we got for the day. Everything that we've talked about is linked in the description. So go ahead, give that a look. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. I post my videos on Twitter and posting all my stuff on Twitter as well. I'm back on the social web, so to speak, if you want to call it that. But that's all I got for the day. Hope everybody has a good day, and I will catch you on the flip side.